Hey everyone, welcome to Area 616. Last night, Marvel Television's newest effort, Cloak and Dagger, finally premiered on Freeform. There's been a lot of anticipation around it, not only because they're two very loved characters, but also due to early reviews. Early critics' reactions were shockingly positive, with most everyone agreeing that this is Marvel's best TV show in years. And now, having watched the first two episodes myself, I have to say, I kind of agree. Cloak and Dagger is fantastic, and it only looks like it's getting better from here. Going into this with this show being on Freeform, I was expecting it to have a bit more of an ABC feel. And what I mean by that is, while ABC has produced some good shows, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. among them, they have a very similar look and feel to me. I think the best way to describe it is kind of soapy. Kind of mainstream, if that makes sense. You know, very clean and advertiser friendly for the most part. This is what I was expecting from a freeform Marvel series, but what I got surprised me in a good way. At times it almost felt like I was watching one of the Netflix shows. Obviously not as much as those, but this series is pretty dark and explores a lot of heavy themes, and it does it very, very well. In fact, I literally forgot it was a superhero show for the first, 20 minutes of episode 1. I was just invested in the characters themselves. I could see some fans being disappointed that this show doesn't have that much action or supervillains or something like that, but after watching it, it would be kind of weird if it did. It would clash with the tone. And I will say, I definitely like Marvel's Netflix shows a lot more, but there is one thing I like about Cloak and Dagger that it does better than those. Focus. This show is squarely and entirely focused on two characters, Tandy and Tyrone, as it should be. If this were a Marvel Netflix series, every character from Connors to Delgado to O'Reilly would have their own subplots constantly draining screen time from the leads. This is a big problem with Marvel's Netflix series, and I think it's a large part of the reason they drag towards the middle. But this show does a much, much better job of handling its leads and their supporting cast, which I appreciate. Speaking of the leads, they're both really great in the roles. They're both very good actors, and they handled their respective dramatic weight very well. Now, of course, there's still 8 episodes left in this season, so there's plenty of room for things to go downhill a bit from here. But going off the first 2 episodes, this is absolutely one of Marvel's best TV efforts to date. I won't rank it or anything until the season is done, but if the rest of the show is as good as the premiere, then I imagine it'll be pretty high on the list. I also wanted to take some time to talk about some of the MCU connections. For one thing, the entire show seems to be coming off the back of an abandoned Agent Carter plot thread. That show was so long ago, and so much has happened since then, that it's easy to forget, but there was a lot of stuff about Roxxon and the Dark Force set up in Season 2 of Agent Carter, and it looks like all that'll finally be paying off in Cloak and Dagger. I was wondering how they'd handle their powers if they would fully embrace the more supernatural origins of the comics, and it looks like they will. I'm very interested to see just what Roxxon is up to, and if there will be anyone else who got infected like Cloak and Dagger out there. It's unlikely. It seemed like they were the only ones in the water, but there's still the chance. In the comics, Cloak and Dagger have always been about going against drugs, and that's certainly apparent here. Drug abuse is displayed very honestly here, so I imagine that will go on to be their mission statement in the show as well. But yeah, I mean, it's still early on, so there's not much to say, but I wanted to upload a quick review of it, just to say how much I enjoyed it. Sorry this video's pretty short. I won't be doing a week-by-week recap of this or anything like that. If something really interesting happens, I may very well make a video about it, who knows. I will upload a full season recap and review when the show wraps up later this summer, in early August, I'd estimate. But for now, I'd love to know, what do you guys think of Cloak and Dagger, if you've seen it? Was it better than you expected, or do you think they could have done some things differently? And what are some of the stuff you'd like to see happen in the rest of Season 1? Let me know all your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Voodoo, my blood, this is living. Blood, taste, I'm chillin'. Jimmy got soul, let me mimic. It's not quite right, you must be a cynic. simmer.